Roundup.
Yay!
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Reading Roundup. This week, we are going to read a book written by Maxine Kumin and illustrated by Barry Moser. And the name of the book is...
Oh, Harry.
Oh, Harry. We're going to learn about Harry the horse. But before we do, we have to introduce who?
Our guest. Our guest.
And Mac, who is our guest?
Dax, the dog.
Dax the dog. Harry the horse was a homely sort. His ears were long and his neck was short. His hooves were as thick as a telephone book, and when he trotted, the sidewalk shook. In the show horse barn of Adams and Son, Harry the horse was the only one. Who wasn't elegant, slim, and tall? Who didn't jitter and pace the stall, or prance and paw, or come up to the gate in a terrible mood and rear up straight? Not good old Harry, the easy-going. His eye was kind, he was calm and knowing, and the trainer loved him. He loved the way Harry could comfort the wildest bay, or trot alongside a nervous filly and keep her from doing anything silly. He didn't exactly have his own stall. Whenever they took in an animal who was fancy and green and young and new, they'd put Harry next door. He knew what to do. He'd lean down over the topmost rail and nuzzle the newcomer calm without fail. If all of the stalls were full for a while, Harry was free to live in the aisle. And the show horse barn of Adams and Son was a happy barn until Algernon. Adams III, at the age of 6, arrived with his bag of horrendous tricks. Oh no.
What?
A meanie old trickster 6-year-old bully's gonna mess with the horses. Oh boy, let's find out if he learns a lesson. He ran with a war whoop up and down in spite of the trainer's angry frown. He climbed to the hayloft with an umbrella till the trainer ordered, "Get down, young fella." So he hopped back down and opened it wide with a whoosh in the face of the stable's pride and joy, a mare named Mary Queen Daisy, who shivered and shook and nearly went crazy. He hid behind doors, he shouted, "Boo!" as each of the horses was led through. But one day fate paid Algie a trick. He climbed in the grain bin, and the lid went click. And there was the bad boy, out of sight, locked up, so far as he knew, for the night. It was getting dark. The trainer had gone. The horses, all fed, were beginning to yawn. The barn was so still you could surely have heard a mouse squeak or Algernon Adams III. Luckily, Harry was loose in the aisle when Algie fell in. He smiled and smiled. Remarkable thing about homely old Harry, the tip of his nose was extraordinary. The trainer had seen him snuffle around in a box of cereal O's he had found. He could use his nose like a human hand to extract one O at a time, on demand. Harry could open the lids of pots. He could undo latches and untie knots. There wasn't a bolt he couldn't slide, including the one with Algie inside. So after he thought that the little deer was tired of yelling, "Let me out of here!" Harry ambled across the floor and slid the bolt on the grain room door. He studied the dangerous wooden bin Algernon was a prisoner in, and using the very tip of his muzzle, he finally managed to open the puzzle. He picked Algie up by the back of his shirt. He used the front teeth so it didn't hurt. But before he set Algie down again, Harry shook him to dust off the grain. Next morning, the stable buzzed. Have you heard the news about Algernon Adams III? He's a different child, so calm, so polite. He must have slept next to Harry all night. And Harry wrinkled his muzzle to show he knew all about Algie there was to know, as he quietly nibbled a cereal O. The end. Oh, Harry. So it's a story of a naughty little mischievous boy who has a lot to learn, making a mistake and getting the consequences, but luckily he had somebody who is willing to forgive him and help him, good old Harry. And so it's a story of reconciliation, huh? Reconciliation. Right here. Reconciliation. It's a big word. Do you know what it means?
Nope.
To have a relationship mended. To go from enemies or separated or not talking to being brought back together in one relationship. So there's forgiveness, and there's kindness, and there's mercy, and there's grace. All of those kind of things are present in reconciliation. So good old Harry and his soft, loving heart extended some kindness to a naughty little immature boy and taught him a lesson or two. Hey everybody, round up your answers because it's question and comment time. Alright, so this week's question, we learned that Harry had special talents. He could use the muzzle of his face to do little tricks and very sensitive things like eating a single cereal O. Here's your question. What are your special talents? Do you have a secret talent that nobody knows about? Or maybe you have a special talent that you like to show and tell. What is it that you're really good at? Make sure to tell us in the comments below.
I'm really good at flipping on the bars.
Okay, flipping on the bars.
I'm really good at doing the splits.
The splits?
I could do it right now. Too.
That's okay. We believe you.
And I can do it.
She's going to do the splits right now. Yep, there it is. You'll have to take my word for it, but she just nailed the splits, no doubt. Very, very cool. All right, well, thanks everybody for joining us for the second in a series of books about horses. We hope you enjoyed this fun-hearted story about Harry the horse. Until we see you next time, what do we say? We say be good, behave, and be cool. And we'll count down to bye time in 3, 2, 1. Goodbye!